Hi, Leos, my loves, my family, my pride. Welcome to July, the beginning of Leo season. My beloved mom, one of my favorite people in the whole world, is a Leo, in July Leo, and and I love Leo season. Obviously, I'm an August Leo, but we are here. And July, we're not messing around. We are not messing around, my friends. Leos and Lionhearts are being really asked to shine bright. You know, I was thinking about how in the age of Aquarius, right, which is beautiful, and we're figuring that out. We're really figuring that out. The Leo heart is so important. The balancing, right? We need that heart energy to anchor in whatever's going on with Aquarians. If you have Leo energy and you're working with Leo energy, it's a big calling. It's a big, intense experience. And I think sometimes people don't really get that about Leo. They think it's about being lazy and frivolous, which is it's so strange to me. I'm like, anyway, it's just really not about that. It's a pretty powerful place. And I know you all are going to agree with me. I'm preaching to the choir here. But with that being said, July is just a really powerful month energetically across the board. And most of us are going to be feeling it. We're going to be feeling it in our physical bodies. We're going to be feeling it in our emotional, spiritual processes. We're going to be feeling it. And that's just one of those things. Actually, really, I think there's a lot of benefic, kind energies in July. It's not necessarily that it's destructive, but there is a big review going on here. And the message that came through before we get through the astrology and some of the specifics and the cards, Leos, there's something going on here, you know, with us moving through Cancer season right before the sun moves into Leo. It's a time of deep rebirth, reconnection to who you really are. You know, tapping in and bringing it back here is a huge part of this month. And the crystal clarity is going to get brighter and bolder and wilder I'm getting full body shivers as the month goes forward. So when we start the month off, there's the first week or two is pretty intense as far as energy waves are concerned. Then it starts to get into this brightness, right? And you may feel small. You know, the last few months you may have wanted to make your Leoness smaller and to hide it or feel ashamed of it or worry that it's too much. But we need the Leo brightness, the compassion, the love, the healing energy of the childlike creativity and joy to help everybody, help the conversations, help this world, help us heal. We need the Leo energy. So you're getting called up, right? So let's talk through. I'm going to start shuffling and I'll just tell you some of the things that are happening. So July 1st, right away, Saturn is moving back to Capricorn. Now we have had Saturn in Capricorn for the last few years, and we had this little nudge of Saturn in Aquarius since March through June. And now we're going back, but we're not really going back. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we're visiting Saturn and Capricorn again, but we're not who we were. We're not who we were. And we're just realizing now how much we've outgrown that container and how much it doesn't fit. It doesn't feel quite Hierophant leadership. What can I say? It doesn't feel like quite the same container anymore, right? So and Saturn will be in Capricorn until December, and then we'll be really moving fully into Aquarius along with Jupiter. So this is our last 6 months of this energy, and we have shifted. So Saturn back into Capricorn. Now this is going to have a lot to do with your physical body, taking care of your health, checking in with it, making sure you're feeling okay in your routines, right? Same thing with the full moon and partial lunar eclipse in Capricorn. This is going to be a big check-in with how you're feeling in your physical. 3 of Cups. Now, We also have Chiron going retrograde in Aries, fellow fire sign, ninth house energy. This is a great time to heal and accept yourself fully, and to hear the big lens perspective of who you are. You know, we often kind of know what that big lens perspective is, King of Pentacles, but we don't always want to like fully understand it, you know? So we kind of know what it is, but we don't acknowledge it. 10 of Cups, beautiful. And this is, you know, Chiron goes retrograde every year for several months. He'll be retrograde until December. So this is a retrograde we worked with last year as well. It's just a time to check in subtly, very subtly in the background. Now we also have a new moon in Cancer and Mercury direct in Cancer this month. These are very spiritual energies once again, so we're working through kind of that tapping in and really hearing your calling. And then of course we hit Leo season and the star. We hit Leo season, this bright, warm, light energy. 8 of Pentacles, oh, I'm loving it. And that's when that crystal clarity, I think, really hits, right? It's building all month. And 4 of Pentacles, makes sense. That card, it just makes sense when you have crystal clarity, actually. Interestingly enough, there's a part of us that always, that, I guess you call it the lizard brain, the instinctual part of our nervous system and our biology that is cautious, likes to kick up. Also fixed signs, there's some cautiousness going on sometimes, I think. But let's talk through this because there's so much good stuff here, Leos. And like I said, you know, being called forward to be your big, bold, beautiful, heart-centered, loving self that we need to share with this world as it's going through this huge change, the love we can send others, the love that we can send ourselves, the creativity that we can use to help everybody. It's such a gift, and we have it. And I know so many Leos who are doing amazing things. And this is a time to not let yourself feel small. And that's actually the message that comes through with Hierophant right away. Anytime you get Hierophant, especially right now, because this is associated with Taurus, and Uranus is moving through Taurus at this time, this is about the bold electrical storm, right? And this is about really holding your space. Now, the shadow side of Hierophant is that he's the one who has all the information. Everybody has to go to him to get, you know, the initiation, right? That's the shadow side. And, you know, you don't have to feel like you have to carry all the answers on your shoulder and be the one to fix everything. No. We're not going there. But it's okay to shine. It's okay to shine. It really is. And it's okay to have something that is beautiful and brilliant and vibrant pouring out of you. It's happening, baby. It's happening whether you try and squash it or not. And I'm wondering, for those of you who have tried to squash it, believe me, I've done it at times. How does that go? It doesn't go very well, does it? It doesn't go very well. The thing is, you have so much support here. It's not about a lone journey. It's not about you just sitting up on a throne and saying, okay, well, I'm on my throne. It's like, nope, that's not fun anyway. It's not fun. We all saw Game of Thrones. You have some allies here, and you have some really deep love here. You have some friendships, some sharing, some connections that are really joining you on this journey. And I love that. This is such celebratory, playful energy, very vibrant and warm, right? And it's creative. 3 is a creative number. It's a number of flow. It's a number of emotional flow. It's a number of emotional connection. You know, it's the Holy Trinity, right? Mind, body, spirit. And 3 of Cups is so celebratory, right? And you have King of Pentacles. Now this guy is about long-term investments. So maybe you got an earth sign in your life. Maybe you do. There's some earth sign vibes going on here. Another Taurus energy, by the way. Lots of Taurus energy here, but we're tight. The King of Pentacles is also about long-term investment. This guy is like you plant your seeds knowing full well that they are going to grow into luxurious vines and big long-term beautiful things. And, this time of so much change, so much not knowing, it feels turbulent. We're tilling that soil like crazy. So as you're planting seeds, as you're hearing who you truly are, those seeds are going into really rich soil. And you have some beautiful communion. This is very supportive of deep relationships. And yes, love relationships, 100%. 10 of Cups is very much that type of energy, but this is so much bigger than that. 10 of Cups is about feeling held with the people who love you, feeling like you can be with those people. It's not just about the happy ending, even though 10 of Cups is kind of the quintessential, end of the romantic movie, roll the credits kind of vibe. They're going into this rainbow bridge and that's it, right? This is so much bigger than just the happy ending. It's about going into a space that is about communion. It's about bigness and brightness and open-heartedness and sharing, right? And so you're having to kind of trust that part of yourself that is quite bright and trusting, and I think sometimes Leos get trained throughout life to shut down the childlike joy and trust a little bit, because we're told that's too much, that won't work for you, that won't keep you safe, you're probably kidding yourself. And so one of the things Leos have to do is actually remember how to do it again. We go through little phases where sometimes we shut that down, we tamp down that light. And the 10 of Cups has to, in order to access that, right? In order to live in it, to be in communion with it, we have to remember that openness, that lightness, that joyfulness, that playfulness. Now, there's something coming through here about getting the big wish, right? About getting the big, bold, beautiful, juicy, good wish. There is. The Star is a card of loving offering, healing, expansion, getting the wish that's dearest to your heart. Now, this is always interesting. I think it's interesting when the things we're truly wishing for come about and they start showing up in our lives, because we always think we've understood what we've been wishing for the whole time. We're like, I know what I'm wishing for. I know exactly what I'm wishing for. And yet there's always this layer underneath it, like this is really what you're wishing for. And we often get presented that solution in its own unique format that we weren't really necessarily expecting. And I'm seeing that here, but there is a lot of support here. Now, we do also have this work card, which I actually really love. I love 8 of Pentacles because this speaks to one step at a time, right? It speaks to the process. Like, this is a card that's often associated with the student becomes the master. How did he become the master? By practicing, right? And it's all those little moments that he spent working on all these other pentacles, tapping and focusing, right? This is a culmination of skills that have been slowly building. This didn't just fall out of the sky. So what I'm noticing for the blessings coming in for you this month is these are things that you have been building to and praying into and feeling through for quite a while, right? These are not things that just randomly happen. They are things that have been culminating over time to support you. And you know, that's the thing. We are connected to our process the whole time. It doesn't just fall out of the sky. These are things that have been emanating from our hearts for a while. So you're getting, I mean, these are very supportive cards, my Leo friends. I just want to point that out. Now, yes, we do have this final card, the 4 of Pentacles. And this is a card of feeling a bit conservative, right? You want to conserve what you have. You want to keep the old order in place because you know what it is and you know how to work with it. And even if it's kind of at least you know what it is, right? And this is a natural part of any of us who are going through a big expansion, who are going through really owning our brightness, really showing up to the table of life. This is a very natural part of the process to feel kind of like when I want to hunker down and hold myself away from the possibilities. And I think that's fine. Just as long as you don't stay here, right? The Four of Pentacles, I've always advocated as an important part of the process because it's a culmination, right? When you're about to walk into a big, if you're about to walk on stage or you're about to walk into a big party, sometimes you just take that breath in your car or on the walk there and you just say, okay. And that's what Four of Pentacles can do in a really positive way. Now, the negative side is when we start getting in our heads and we say, I think I'm just going to stick with what I already know. I think I'm just going to stay back here forever. That's when we start to run into problems. And that's when we start to dim our light and we start to keep ourselves in a tiny container that no longer fits us. And that's something we will be feeling with Saturn coming back to Capricorn. We're not going back to that container. It's not that that transit was bad, but we learned some lessons about what was holding us captive and what was crushing us. Saturn and Capricorn is quite a heavy energy. Saturn's very empowered in its home sign of Capricorn, and it can feel, especially if that's not your native energy, it can feel really heavy. And so we're not going back there. We're not staying in the small container. I'm really excited for Leos this month, though. There's so much beautiful supportive energy here for you to shine bright. Even if things don't always feel tidy and contained and like you can write like a nice tidy inventory of how the month went down. It doesn't mean, life doesn't need to be tidy and organized and make sense all the time in order for you to shine bright. It doesn't. Sometimes I think we need to wait until there's this ideal time. And the ideal time never really comes. Life continues to be nuanced, strange, sad at times, overpowering. It continues to be a very mysterious unfolding of how things happen. And we are allowed to shine even in that. So that's the message at the beginning of Leo season here. Take such good care of yourselves as we work through this eclipse, this last eclipse, and some of these powerful energy waves that we are working with during Cancer season until we lead into Leo season when we all get to take a big breath. I would love to see you over on Patreon to support you during this time and to connect in with you. So you can find that link below. It's such a beautiful community. I cannot say enough beautiful things about it. You can also find me on my website and on Instagram at Sarah Verba. All the links are below. And of course, PinkLune, my girl PinkLune. She has a beautiful Etsy shop, and I will leave her link below as well. I'm sending you all so much love. Take very good care of yourselves, and I will talk to you for more Leo season in August. Shine bright.